saving a stranded echidna. A couple of friends were watching a river fill with water when they spotted the echidna trapped in the middle of the current. Tom and Blake immediately jumped into the water to save the quill-covered little animal. Carefully, they carry her across the river while the little animal stays calm, allowing herself to be rescued. They safely put the echidna down on the shore, and she happily wanders off into the wild. An act of kindness is never wasted.
My main reason for adopting a vegan diet is sustainability. Obviously, animal rights comes into the mix, but for me, I want a world for future people, whether or not they are my children, but not Añaños Martinez, vegan.
With profound humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace. Etc.
We ought in every way to lay claim to the things that are in our control, but what is not in our control we ought to entrust to the universe. Please continue watching to find out more from the wise teachings of Stoic philosopher Gaius Musonius Rufus, vegetarian.
Peace is happening around our world.
Peace News number 60 of many and counting.
There are many countries promoting peace and fostering amity among peoples and governments, etc.
February 2024. The initial day of peace dialogue between the Thai government and a key separatist group in southern Thailand concludes with both sides showing the will to find a resolution to the conflict, according to the Thai chief peace negotiator CHINGHAI. By creating peace, we all can make a loving, serene and prosperous world.
Piagera Meda. This means, how do you do, in Sardinian, one of the languages spoken on the island of Sardinia. I am Ludovica. The family-oriented Sardinians appreciate the simple life of growing your own food and relying on God's bountiful blessings. May everyone adhere to the noble precept of "Thou shalt not kill," which includes going vegan to prevent the killing of animal people.
I want to meet your baby. Oh my God.
Since then, she's already grown so much under the care of her mom, Brave. Look how they mirror each other.
Welcome to Do What Is Right, Even Through Hard Times, from the teachings of Musonius Rufus, vegetarian, part 2 of 2 on words of wisdom. Gaius Musonius Rufus, vegetarian, was one of the great Stoic philosophers of the Roman Empire. He lived in the 1st century CE and was born in Vocini, an ancient city of Etruria that is now part of present-day Italy. His philosophy focused on the study and practice of virtue. He believed that everyone is capable of being virtuous. However, people who had not learned the skills of ethical living could not be expected to live without error. Thus, he lived and promoted a simple and frugal lifestyle, which included the learning of self-control, modesty, courage, and benevolence. He was a vegetarian and taught that being mindful of one's diet was a vital virtue. His students included Roman noblemen, senators, and future philosophers. In the years following, his wisdom continued to have an impact on later Stoic philosophy as well as early Christian moral thought. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, was his most notable student, whose principles were deeply influenced by his mentor. Although the works of Gaius Musonius Rufus are mentioned in the writings of Epictetus, most have been lost through time. However, his philosophical teachings in the form of aphoristic sayings and discourses were preserved by his students. This was later translated and included in Cora E. Lutz's book, Musonius Rufus, the Roman Socrates. Let us continue with fragments from the book Musonius Rufus, the Roman Socrates, which urges us to maintain moral and ethical values despite difficult situations. Fragments. Rufus, from the remarks of Epictetus on friendship. Of the things that exist, God has put some in our control, others not in our control. In our control, he has put the noblest and most excellent part by reason of which he is himself happy, the power of using our impressions. For when this is correctly used, it means serenity, cheerfulness, constancy. It also means justice and law and self-control and virtue as a whole. But all other things he has not put in our control. Therefore, we ought to become of like mind with God, and dividing things in like manner. We ought in every way to lay claim to the things that are in our control. But what is not in our control, we ought to entrust to the universe and gladly yield to it, whether it asks for our children, our country, our body, or anything whatsoever. Who of us does not marvel at the action of Lycurgus, the Lacedaemonian? For when he had been blinded in one eye by one of his fellow citizens and had received the young man at the hands of the people to punish as he saw fit, he did not choose to do this, but trained him instead, and made a good man of him, and afterward escorted him to the public theater. And when the Lacedaemonians regarded him with amazement, he said, "This man I received from you, an insolent and violent creature. I return him to you, a reasonable man and a good citizen." But most of all, the work of nature is this, to make desire and impulse to act fit closely with perception of that which is seemly and useful. Of such a character, the nature of the universe was and is and will be, and it is not possible for things that come into existence to come into existence differently from the way they now do. And in this process of change and transformation, not only human beings and other creatures of earth have had a part, but also the divine beings, and even the four elements are changed and transformed upwards and downwards. That is, earth becomes water, and water, air, and air is again transformed into ether. And there is the same process of transformation downwards. If a man resolves to focus his thoughts on these things and persuades himself willingly to accept the inevitable, he will lead a life well measured and in harmony with the universe.
The most powerful daily prayer for any time and before meditation, which is the order from God, and Supreme Master CHINGHAI shares with us by His blessed grace.
We humbly worship, praise, thank, obey, and love God Almighty, the Most High, the greatest, for world vegan, world peace, and our soul liberation. We thank, love, praise the only Son of God, who is the ultimate Master for our salvation. We follow the teaching of all the saints and sages. We thank, love, and praise them, who are the representatives of God for our spiritual elevation.
Remarks by Musonius. To share the common notion that we shall be despised by others if in every way we do not strive to harm the first enemies we meet is the mark of mean-minded and ignorant men. For we say that the despicable man is recognized, among other things, by his inability to harm his enemies. But actually, he is much more easily recognized by his inability to help them. Trisha was in the habit of saying, "I should rather be put to death today than be banished tomorrow." What then did Rufus say to him? If you choose that as the heavier misfortune, what a foolish choice to make. But if as the lighter who has given you the choice, are you not willing to train yourself to be satisfied with what has been given you? Why do we continue to be lazy and careless and sluggish and seek excuses for not working hard and sitting up late to perfect our mastery of logical argument? Well, if I have made a mistake in this problem, I haven't been guilty of killing my own father, have I? Stupid boy, shall I show you where in this instance there was a father to kill? The only possible error to make in this example you have made. Yet, that was the very answer I once made to Rufus when he scolded me because I could not find the missing member in a certain syllogism. It is not as bad, I said, as if I had set fire to the Capitol. Whereupon he answered, in this case, you foolish fellow, the missing member is the Capitol. Are these the only possible wrongs? Burning the Capitol and killing one's father? But using one's impressions without purpose or profit and quite at random and failing to follow argument or demonstration or semblance of reason and completely missing what is to one's advantage or disadvantage in question and answer. Are none of these wrongs? Rufus used to say, if you have time to waste praising me, I am conscious that what I say is worth nothing. So far from applause on our part, he spoke in such a way that each of us sitting there felt that someone had gone to him and told him our faults. So accurately he touched upon our true characters. So effectively he placed each one's faults before his eyes.
Vegan, at least save yourself, if not the whole world.
Caring viewers, it was a pleasure that you could join us today for Words of Wisdom. Coming up next is where history and beauty converge in the neighborhoods of Granada, Spain, part 1 of 2. May the sun, the moon, and the twinkling stars remind us of our heavenly abode.
Being vegan, having peace, doing good deeds, life is a feast.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Манай нэвтрүүлгүүд олон хэлээр гардаг. Зочлох хаяг suprememastertv.com/schedule болон suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Be sure to follow us on our socials: YouTube, Facebook, Getter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Nico Nico, Pinterest, Reddit, Substack, Telegram, Threads, TikTok, Truth Social, Tumblr, VK, and X, previously known as Twitter, in multiple languages by searching Supreme Master TV.